Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Magnify Ministries broadcast. We are excited to have you here this evening. I want you to go ahead and hit like, comment, and share. And let's get the broadcast out there this evening because I believe we're going to have a great broadcast. We got a great young man who loves gospel music, and I tell you, there's a great message in gospel music. If you have not checked out groups that I'm sure we're going to talk about tonight, such as the Inspirations, Mark Trammell, Mylan Hayes family, and there's so many more, you need to go check those out because I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to be tremendously blessed. Let's bring my buddy on, Riley, right now. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Great. So, share with us a little bit about how you became familiar with the sounds of gospel music.
So, growing up, I've always listened to gospel music. My parents would play it in the car, and when we'd go to concerts growing up. We'd go hear the Inspirations and the Collingsworth family, and Gold City and Greater Vision, and those are some of my favorites. And we just growing up, we just go to singings, and my sister fell in love with it before I did. But I mean, I remember around 2017 or so, I started looking up videos on YouTube of old gospel videos of the Spear family and the Statesmen, and that's when I started really picking up on it for myself and fell in love with the music.
You just named some of the top groups out there, but was there one in particular that you really liked that made you long for more of gospel music?
I've always loved. I think the Inspirations have always been my favorite. Now, out of those old groups that I went back and listened to, I would say the Spear family. That might be a surprising answer, but that's what got me into the older, the history side of Southern gospel music.
The Spear family was great, the Happy Goodmans. It was
Hmm.
something about that family harmony then, and even though it's carried on now, we see that through the Mylan Hayes family, we see that through Collingsworth family. There's so many family groups out there. Who would be some of your favorite family groups out there today?
The Collingsworth family and the Milan Hayes family, and then you have the Morrison sisters and the Rogers family. Those are they're not like small groups, but I mean that some may not know. And then let's see, those are probably my top four fam- as far as family groups go.
So I hear that you're a part of the special broadcast called Southern Gospel Forward. Tell us a little bit about that.
So at the beginning of this year, Scott Bolden reached out to me and he said he wanted to start a community for aimed at young people, connecting young fans and artists together. And so over the last several months, we talked about it, and we I didn't know when ever everything was going to come together, but about end of July, beginning of August, we started the group on Facebook, and we had our first podcast with Trevor Kunkel at the beginning of August, and we've had several guests on the podcast, and it's gone very well so far, and we're very thankful for how well it's been received.
You've had one of my favorite people on your broadcast, Jaylee Vanderslice of Sound Street. Man, that is a great group.
Yes, that they I heard them for the first time a couple years ago when they were on main stage for the first time, and I did not get to hear them this year on main stage, but they are doing a great job, and I was very impressed with just her testimony and all that.
There's a young man watching by the name of Nicholas Wilkie. You wouldn't happen to know this kid, do you?
I've only seen him a couple times. You know, I saw see him at NQC, and he knows about anybody and everybody.
Yeah, he was on the broadcast and I told him, I said,
Hmm.
man, you might break the Facebook when you come on because there's going to be so many people watch it, might close it down.
Yeah, yep, and all them girls watching too. The mag.
I was picking on him that night, and Guy Kirby, who is the bus driver for Brian Free and Assurance, said he was going to put the mag in Magnify. So that
That's fun.
was funny all in itself.
Hmm.
So share with us a little bit about the host that you got there with Southern Gospel Forward and what y'all's goals are.
So we have the guy who's pulled us all together, who had the vision for everything, Scott Bolden. He is a board member of the SGMA, and we call him Paw Paw. And we have Avery Bradford and Evan Bradford. They're siblings. They live in Alabama, and then there's me, and I live in Chickamauga, Georgia.
So is there great gospel music down there in Georgia?
There is, we don't have as many concerts locally as I wish. You know, you have to usually go an hour or two out. But sometimes there's been several times this year we've had like the Kingsmen's been nearby, and the tribute quartet's been by, and I always look forward to when I don't have to go super far for good singing.
So what's some of the concerts that you got coming up that you hope to attend?
Well, this next week I'm going to be at Praise Fest Monday through Wednesday morning, and then I'll come home Wednesday afternoon. And then as far as the rest of the year, I think that's probably going to be close to it. I'm sure there'll be one or two pop up before the end of the year, but that's definitely one of my favorite events. Um, that and I'm a volunteer there, and I stand at the door and check tickets, and that's definitely a highlight of my year.
Is there any particular group that you look forward to hearing during that time?
Yes, the so Monday night they have the Collingsworth family, and then all the sessions are Greater Vision. I love that's one of my favorite groups, and then of course the Mylan Hayes family and Mark Trammell Quartet and Tribute, and I have not heard the New Kingdom Heirs lineup in person yet, so that I look forward to hearing them as well.
Well, all I can say is if you want to know anything about the Kingdom Heirs, you can ask Nicholas Wilkie. He can tell you everything about them, every
Hmm.
kind of fact. He knows all them facts.
And all the facts about all the bass singers and all the olds. We and him talk sometimes, and he's got more history than I could even begin to hold.
I think he laughs at me sometimes because I'll go to him and I'll say, Nicholas, who is this? And he's like, you don't know who this is? And I'm like, no. And he's like, you're a broadcast host. I'm like, well, I still don't know who it is. But
Anytime I don't know anything, I end up checking sghistory.com. That's one of my number one visited websites.
so, what's some of your favorite gospel songs that you listen to on a daily basis?
I'd say my number one favorite song is "I Have God to Thank for Everything." That's ever since that song came out. That's been like every day, no matter what happens in our lives, we have God to thank for that, whether good or bad. And some other songs for all He's done. Um, let's see. I listen to a lot of inspirations, but um, "Overwhelming" by the Mon Hayes family, that Kennedy wrote, and then there's a lot of great songs. I just couldn't even begin to list them all.
So, I was scrolling through the world of YouTube today and I come across your YouTube channel, and I'm going to pull it up on the screen. You want to tell people a little bit about it?
Yeah, so about 5 years ago, I was just laying here in my bed one night, and I was like, I, back in the day when I would go to concerts, my sister would have me um, video during the concert, and so she would post those on her YouTube channel, and so I was like, maybe I ought to upload videos for everybody to see, and so I started doing that, and I didn't have the name of the concert attender. But I started a separate Instagram last year, and I came up with that name. And it's really people recognize that name, and I've been blessed with a good following. I just do it for fun. I do like the YouTube shorts and with the lyrics on them, and I just have fun. That's just kind of like a fun side hobby I do.
So, what kind of videos can people expect when they go to your YouTube channel?
Traditional Southern gospel music. Any concerts I go to, I usually I don't usually video the whole thing, but I'll video, you know, a good bit of it, and then I have content Monday and Fridays at 5 p.m., which I was a little bit late today. I just had a video come out just a couple minutes ago actually, and then I upload the Southern Gospel Forward podcast on Wednesdays following the following what. So if we have a podcast on Tuesday, I'll upload it on Wednesday, or if it's at the we've had the podcast several different days, so I upload it the Wednesday, the following
That
Wednesday.
that's great. That's great. So, do you think, from a young perspective as you are, do you think that Southern gospel music as a whole has a bright future ahead?
It has a good. We're in a good place right now. We have a lot of great young people coming into the music, and we also I think it will continue into the future, long past what people would probably expect. Gerald Wolf always mentions they were saying back in the day that Southern gospel music wouldn't last this long, and it was all old people and all the fans will die off. Well, you go to NQC or any event, and you're seeing more young people than in the last several years than you probably have in a while. So I think there's a bright future, and especially with the focus of this group, bringing everybody together so we can get to know each other and have that community. And hopefully, we'll be doing more with that in the future. Maybe some meetups, and I know we're talking about having a table at NQC next year, and so I'm doing some in-person stuff. So that's exciting.
That's great. Well, Riley, we have had a great time chatting with you. Thank you so much for coming on. Tell the folks how they can find out more about Southern Gospel Forward.
Yeah. So if you're on Facebook, you can look up in the group look up the group Southern Gospel Forward. And to listen to our podcast, you can go to my YouTube channel or SBM Studios on Facebook and YouTube. Just like and follow and share and all that good stuff. And we also are on Instagram. We haven't done super much with that, but we're at Southern Gospel Forward on Instagram as well.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, buddy. You have a great rest of your evening.
You as well. Thank you for having me.
All right. Be blessed.
Yes, sir.